Life, what's the definition of it? Is it defined by how much money you make or the risk you take to impact a person's life like Christ? I'd rather do what's right than do what's wrong and live long with regret. So now I'm met with a challenge. Will I stay or will I walk away? Since I'm a man of God, I'll take that stand and go across the land, touching one life at a time with words of wisdom. I can only hope one day that people see my vision so they understand my decision. Cause I'm just walking along on this journey, hoping it don't get the best of me. I just thought I would take the time to give you a piece of my mind.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Man, honestly, I hope that I'm like one of the, I guess, like top guys in poetry, or just in the author world in general. You know what I mean? Like in my dreams, like I'm sitting next to all the big players, man. You know, I've had like hopefully maybe my second and third book will be out by then. I've had like a couple of free poetry collections under my belt as well. But honestly, I'm just taking it day by day right now. Like I have so many like high goals for myself that sometimes, you kind of got to be realistic at the same time. So like that's why, like, for me right now, I'm just trying to just grind it out and just keep on writing, like just keep on going, just keep on putting out stuff, and like putting out quality instead of quantity. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you said that because you know where I want to go and film, and my cousin just told me the same thing. Because I try to run around and shoot everything.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, how do you deal with writer's block?
That's a good question, bro. Honestly, I'll give you a perfect example, right? It was one time where this was like back in 2000 and late 2014, like December. Well, actually, it was like almost December, close to like the end of November. And my friend had hit me up about possibly performing at his church's Christmas program, and he wanted me to do a poem. Because actually, I think earlier that year, I asked him and like a few other people, like, hey man, if you guys ever need a poet, you know what I mean, holla at me, man, I'll do anything. And basically, he remembered that, and he looked out for me, and he asked me to do it. And at the time, I hadn't written a poem. I hadn't written like a new poem since like that summer or whatever, because I was still working on the process of putting out my paperback version of my book and getting my my ebook to the point where I wanted it to be. So I had kind of taken a few months off of actually writing new material. So like when he asked me to do it, I was like, cool, but I didn't really know how to approach it because nobody had actually ever asked me to write a poem for a certain like thing, you know what I mean? Like for like a certain topic or a certain event. So it was like the first time I ever did it. So at first I couldn't think of nothing, man. And what I decided to do was I was like, man, I can't think of nothing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pray to God. So I just said a quick prayer like, God, just help me get out the thoughts that you would want me to say to your people, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm a vessel that God uses to talk to his people and get his message out. Because without God, I wouldn't be able to write poetry, honestly, man. Like, it's honestly like a gift from him, and I try to use it to glorify him in everywhere I can. And so like once I said that prayer, like honest to God truth, bro, it just came flowing out. It just came to me. And I wrote it. It was like one of the quickest poems I ever wrote. And now on the poetry site that I'm on, that I use pretty frequently, and it's called Squiggler. It was developed over there in London, and I've been on there for like about a year now. And honestly, bro, it's crazy to say, but that poem right there is probably my highest viewed poem. They got like 1,900 some views. And it's crazy to me how like people are still like tweeting out randomly, and like Squiggler's still promoting it, and it's not even Christmas, bro. They be promoting it. Like I saw the other day somebody tweeted it out, and I was just like, wow, it's not even Christmas. I was like, man, this must have been like really touched people. And that just goes to say that, like, man, you never know like what's gonna touch certain people's lives. So that's why, like, you can never doubt yourself or anything like that. You just gotta put it out. Because sometimes the poems that you think would be like your biggest ones, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they, take a little while to catch steam. But then sometimes the ones you wouldn't think, them be like the biggest ones and do really well. So, like, Squigglers really taught me that, like, yo, just put out just do the art, put it out, and let the people decide. You know what I mean? The reason why I even got on Squiggler is crazy, man. Like, I think it was like last July, and this guy had followed me, and his name is Dimitri, and I followed him back because I think I saw that he was like a writer, author. I follow like a lot of writers and authors on Squiggler, like, and honestly, on Twitter, my bad. And honestly, man, ever since I put out the like first little draft of my ebook, like, I've been doing pretty well on Twitter, man. Like, I've been able to link up with a lot of like writers and just like poets in general. And I just saw that it's like a way bigger community than I thought, and it's great. And through Twitter, I've been able to network a lot. And I was able to, link up with Dimitri, and he sent me a DM talking about Squiggler. And honestly, at first I wasn't really sure about joining it because I'm like, man, I'm already on so many sites already, man. Like, what makes sure it's any different? Like, and he like broke it down to me how like where like there's a section for poetry, there's a section for your opinion. There's a section for stories, just a whole bunch of different sections for different things, and how like they basically have like the different like charts, like for poetry and for opinions and for stories, and it shows you where you are on the site, and it shows you like your demographic, your analytics, and all of that. So I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I was like, let me give it a try. So I was on there for like a few months. I was doing pretty good. I was just putting up a whole bunch of poems, like from my free collections and from my own poetry book. And basically, I would never forget, I put up, I think it was last September, I put up Catch 22, which is a really like one of my like really great poems that people really love. And I put that up, and it stayed in, like, it went to their top 10. Like, ever since then, I've had multiple ones in their top 10 in poetry, and I've been doing really well on their site, man. And that just showed me, like, yeah, man, if I keep on grinding, I could be where I want to be. It's going to take some time, and I never know when that day is going to come. But all it takes is that one poem to go viral. Or all it takes is, like, for you, all it takes is that one video, that one film to go viral. Like, we're just one click away. Or, we're just one, like, view away from that one person seeing it and it changing our lives. So that's why you just really always gotta stay on your grind, always be prepared, always put in work. And don't, and I know as creators we get discouraged, but like, man, we gotta just, we gotta, honestly, I feel like that's the enemy, that's the devil trying to get to us from trying to fulfill the purpose God wants for us. So at the end of the day, man, we just gotta block that out and just keep on going. Like, no matter what, like, don't give up. Because it's honestly the people that give up that don't go nowhere. They wind up getting caught up in the matrix and don't fulfill their purpose in life, and they wind up being miserable. You know what I mean? And I feel like in our generation, we're trying to find true happiness. We're trying to do what we love. We're not trying to be trapped in this cycle and trapped in a system and kind of be like, slaves to the world, just like doing what they want us to do instead of doing what God wants us to do. So like for me, I decided, you know, once I was in West Georgia, I really found my true calling and my true purpose in life. And I realized that that's what truly is gonna make me happy. So ever since then, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna stop me from accomplishing that, because this is what God meant for me. And can't nobody stop what God meant for me. For all the young poets out there, I just want to tell them, like, the best thing that they could do is first start off with like a goal in mind. Because like for me, what helped me to accomplish my dream and like putting out my poetry book and all that was I started off with like, actually no, start off with an idea and then turn that idea and make goals out of those ideas. Because like for me, what I did was I had a idea that turned into a goal that I made sure I wrote them down so I could hold myself accountable so that I could accomplish them, basically. And as a result, I got my book out of that. And honestly, also like having a good support system, because honestly, I couldn't have done this without my family. You know, family and having a good family that supports you and friends that also support you, that also helps, man, and networking. But I think, you know, we live in the digital age now where you could kind of take your future into your own hands. And like some of the things that I did basically was just kind of, in the beginning, I was just writing poetry, man. I just was just like, you know, I just like kept on like writing poetry and just basically just did that for a long time. Like I started off basically just kind of saying, all right, like what do I want to talk about, basically. And basically what I decided to do was I just started to say, nah, let this be my creative outlet. Let this kind of be like my journal, to like, you know, get off my ideas and get off like, you know, some steam or whatever. So it's kind of like, I would say poetry is my therapy. And with that being said, I basically would just write down whatever I felt and whatever I was going through or whatever I thought needed to be addressed that was going on in the world. So like for me, like I just would want to tell all the young poets to just write in the beginning and don't even worry about like all the other, I guess what you would say, like the proper like ways to go about it. Just write at first and then structure, because at the end of the day you can't structure without writing. So I would say just write, and once you think you have a good amount of material, then think about like strategizing and how you're gonna put it out to the world. And once you do that, man, like the sky's the limit, because you could go about it in so many different ways. Like you could go up to open mics. You could make videos online. You could like join sites like Squiggler and other writing platforms. You could even put your poems on Twitter or on Facebook or on Instagram. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's all about kind of like getting that exposure and like putting yourself out there. You know, for criticism, really. Because, you know, everybody's not gonna like your stuff, and everybody is, you know, sometimes your work might go unnoticed, but just keep on going, because eventually people are gonna be like, man, all right, this dude posts so many poems, I gotta check him out. He sent me so much stuff, I gotta check some out. Cause this man, cause one thing people can't deny is hard work. People can't deny hard work, man. They can't front on you if you working hard. So at the end of the day, man, just like I said before, don't give up. Like I give you like some inside information that I got from this video. And unfortunately, I don't remember the guy who said it, and I don't remember the name of the video or anything, but I think he was relating it to relationships. But I feel like you can apply this to everything in life. Like, there's truly only 30% of the world's population that really go after what they want in life. Just think about that. Only 30%. So not many people go above average in life. Most people settle. So therefore, you have a better chance in going after your dreams and getting it than most people, because most people don't do it. So when you think about it that way, you know, it might take a while, but you're gonna win in the end, as long as you have a winner's mentality. It's all about your mentality at the end of the day, man. Like, that's why one person I love is Kanye West, man. And people can say what they want to say about Kanye, but that man is determined to win. And that's why he is where he is right now. Because he had that winner's mentality. He's like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be the best of the best. Like, he has one line where he says, 3 beats a day for 3 summers. I deserve to do these numbers.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's funny that you even said that, because that's one of my lines I like.
I mean?
I deserve to do these numbers.
It just showed you that hard work pays off,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? You can't front on hard work, man. And even though people might not like Kanye, because I've heard this, because I remember back in middle school, people used to say this. I ain't really understand it, but I understand it now. People used to tell me, like, man, I don't like Kanye, but I love his music. And I'm like, well, you know, at least that means you like some part of him, right? You know what I mean? Because you,
Take the next
you know,
slight right turn.
you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he got you to like something. You know what I mean? And the reason why people don't, you know, like him is because he's cocky or whatever. But I feel like most people like you and me, like creatives, he speaks for us. He's our voice.
Exactly.
Because we do get frustrated and stuff like that. Man, and honestly, man, like, there's a lot of things he says I wouldn't say out loud, but let's be real, a lot of us be thinking it. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to applaud him, man, even though I wouldn't frame it in that way, and I don't really like putting certain stuff out there because I don't like hurting people's feelings and stuff. But hey, man, you know, at the end of the day, man, some of that stuff that he says, actually a lot of that stuff he says needs to be said. You know what I mean?